is to cut our ribbon. So we're going to cut 3 pieces of ribbon. And the bigger the pieces, the bigger the bow. The smaller the pieces, the smaller the bow. So it's up to you how long you want your ribbon pieces to be. These are cut to 18 inches. And so if you want to follow along, cut 3 pieces of ribbon 18 inches long. So what we're going to do is we're going to make bows, just simple bows out of these pieces of ribbon. So have your needle and thread ready. We're just going to do like the awareness type ribbon, and we want them to be kind of even with the tails. And we don't want it to be curvy like that. Make sure they're kind of flatter. Okay, so once it's even and you like where it is, all the tails are even with the loops, take your needle and your thread, come through the back in the center, and then pull through, and then wrap around, and we're just going to crease the middle of this bow. So just wrap and tighten, and then when there's no more give, just take a couple stitches in the back. And that's our first simple bow. So go ahead and do this bow with these other 2 pieces of ribbon. Once the bows are made, then we just need to make sure to trim it down. So you want the tails to match the loops. And so since this is almost twice the size, I'm going to cut it down to there. And you can make your measurements smaller when you cut it out if you would like to do that. And so make sure to seal your ends. Alright, now we're going to put together the bow, and this is the fun part. So make sure you have your needle and thread ready. So we're going to take our bows and we're going to layer them. So starting with the bottom bow, turn it upside down, and take the next one and place it at an angle this way, and then take the next one and we're going to place that one at, you can place it just regular like this on top, or you can place this one at an angle as well. We want to make sure that we have the same amount of loops and tails on either side. And so once you have it like this, then we've got 3 tails or 3 loops, and this will be the 3rd tail, and that will make it even. So that looks great. So take your needle and your thread, and we're going to pull it through all 3 of them. And then, like I said, make sure that you have the same amount of tails on both sides. So we're going to need 3 tails, 3 loops on either side. When you've got that, just wrap around the center to separate. And then go around tightening. And when it has no more give, just tie it off. And so that finishes the basic making of the bow. And at this point, you may want to trim down the tail some more. So, or you can even do V-cuts if you like. Just make sure that the tails are even with the loops. Now we're going to finish the bow off. So cut out a piece of the ribbon. This is the 7/8 inch ribbon. And it's really nice to get a thick knotted center when you use the 7/8 inch ribbon. So we're going to make our knotted center. And then we're going to glue it onto our bow. And then while that's cooling, turn it over and we're going to put our clip on. And so I have my lined clip here. And this, since it's a kind of a bigger bow, a French barrette would also be great. So we'll take a dab of glue and put it inside the clip. And then bring the tail over. And then when that cools, we'll cut off the excess. And then seal the ends. And then now we will add the other tail. So at this point I like to turn it over and make sure that all of the loops on the tails are looking great. And then cut off the excess. And seal. And that finishes our triple stacked bow.